In the beginning, it seemed like everyone knew a doctor, or a nurse, or a pundit, who said there was no need to panic. The first expert I spoke with said, "People you know will die." And there were other words, but that dangling assurance, "People you know will die," echoed until it screamed like a sonic weapon. I covered my ears for days before I realized I was the one screaming. Millions of people were here, celebrating birthdays and sitting in cages, losing house keys and ending affairs, praising selfies and haircuts, forgetting passwords and planning dinners, greeting casually with embraces, or clutching grudges that mean nothing now, because millions of mothers, big sisters, and goofy uncles, fathers, best friends, and caged lovers, store clerks and shoplifters, nurses and teachers, poets and janitors, workers who never caught a break, idealists who had just begun to win, people disappeared into hospitals and unseen rooms and corners, gasping for air, until their faces blurred beneath headlines, and statistics swallowed their names, numbers doubling into abstractions that hung like storm clouds and left people lamenting that they couldn't go outside. We echoed the numbers, roaring like acoustic cannons, until we realized that we were screaming and pleading, hoping to horrify or shock or compel, caution, care, or at least a reverence that was often absent. Some of us wept for the living and the dead. Some of us wept over broken coffee mugs and ripped fingernails. Some of us wept over isolation, over empty bottles. Over and over we wept. Some lost our health. Some lost our kin. Some lost our minds. Some lost and lost and lost, and some are still losing. And now some say it's time to move on, to gather and go about our lives. And it feels like being told after the towers fell to go shopping again, and all will be well. Normal is knocking, but normal was the reaper too, pouring another poison over everything in sight. And now the lonely are lurching toward repackaged ruins, fetishizing the stores and the bars we used to live in, adoring a social garbage disposal that was always teetering on the edge of this chasm that swallowed millions, more than have ever been counted or will ever be named. So how do we live? How did we live? We live with the courage of masked rebels who marched against death when death was in the air. We live with the love that fed our neighbors when capitalism closed its coffers. We live with the power that sprang up inside us when we were split off into corners, trying to conjure something in the space between. And we did, because love has always happened in gulfs and voids. Love is an electric extension, radiating and unleashing a boundless defibrillation that can resuscitate what's wilting, sending a charge across time through the earth, reaching millions of lives and names and narratives, re-embraced by the earth and reborn in all the particles that make everything. And sometimes we can feel that charge rebound. But now the death makers are calling to tell us we've won a new monopoly board. They say it's the world we used to know and that we can have it back. But we don't have to play. We can seize the pieces and bury the board. We can love as loudly as we've wept and roar like cannons for us, for them, for the world that should have been. The battle has already begun. a duel with normalcy, a war against forgetting and disposal, the creation of a world that would have saved them. And our grieving hands will build it.